Hey folks, Jonathan here. Anybody that watched the video of the battery charger with the radio in it, I'm sure has seen this fan that I picked up for junk, and I like it. I did find out that blade is original wood. Most of them got missing over the years or got broke, so we're going to clean the motor off, see if we can figure out what RPM, what horsepower it is. We'll wire it, make sure it works good, and we'll tear this thing apart and take it off of that galvanized steel pole that it's on. And I have got a nice three-legged, very old cast iron stand with the same size pipe, but the pipe's steel. Now this at one time had that it had a big gear in it. It was one with the curved spokes that I used on one of my steam engines, and this thing was missing some parts. This would originally have this hand crank, and you turned it and it turned this, okay, and it spun this at a real high speed, and at the end of this it had a cable with a piece inside of it. It was flexible, and it actually spun this, and it might not even have had a cable. It might have just spun open. I've never seen one, but I know how it works. It comes from here and then it goes to a set of sheep shears, and one person would be hand cranking this around, and another person would be shearing the sheep with the shears. And this is made by a Chicago Flexible Shaft Company, and I was missing the shear part for it and wasn't able to find it, but like I said, I was able to use the gear, and I'm not sure what was here. There was something supposed to be on this side, but I was able to use the gear on the steam engine as a flywheel. And now we're going to use that nice base for the bottom of our fan, and we're actually going to use that same steel pole too. And it's not going to be real high, but you know, this ain't going to be really a fan to be running. I'm just going to redo it and clean it up, paint it, get it set up on there, and see if we can knock it out pretty quick. It's not a real big job. You know, time-consuming thing is going to be getting this thing apart and back together and cleaning this stuff up. Cleaning up's always the problem, and you know, it'd be nice to be able to sandblast this stuff, but I usually, most of the time, just use a wire brush on a side grinder, you know, cut brush, or you know, small brush on a drill, whatever you got to use. If you can use the wire brush and get it off real good. And the cover's not in too bad a shape. There's a couple little places it's bent that, or the guard that I can straighten out. And this wire was undone from the motor and pulled off, so we'll find a cord for it and see if we can get everything apart here. That's going to be the biggest thing. I don't want to hurt our blade. That's the most important part. And I'll probably clean the blade up. And it was painted silver, and I think that's original. I don't know that I can get it down to the wood and, you know, just put clear on it, but we're going to see. That paint may have soaked in pretty good, because you know, you can still see it real good, and you can actually see through it and see the grain of the wood. But I don't want to take a lot of wood off of it, but I'd love to be able to clean it up. But we'll see. See what happens, see how it looks, and get it apart. I'll let you see what that motor is, and we'll get it cleaned up and see if we can get it wired up and make it run before we waste a lot of time putting it together. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, we've got it pretty much tore apart here. Got the blade off, everything. Getting ready to clean this tag off. We'll see what it says. Our rubber that goes in the ends is not good at all, and that is why that thing was slipped out. But I'm going to have to figure something out on that. I'm not sure quite yet what I'm going to do, but I will come up with something. I might be able to actually make one of these. Might try anyway. And what I'm going to do, I've got paint remover and stripper, and I'm going to put a little bit on there and see if I can get this paint off this tag and see what motor that is, and RPM and stuff, and then we'll throw some wires to it and see if it'll run. I'm betting it will. You know, this old stuff's made good. You know, wasn't made to be throwaway motors. These lasted pretty long, and unlike some of this new stuff, and it wasn't a builder cheap it, and you know, throw her out the door society back then. So let me see if I can get this cleaned off, and I'll show you what it says. Okay folks, you see I got stripper on it. You don't want to leave the stripper on long at all. it may start taking the black off, but what we done is just put a little bit on, brush it around, just keep it brushed around. When you think you've got it all, take your rag and wipe it off, kid. And then we'll clean it off with something so it don't take any more off than we want. You can see it looks pretty good. It's definitely readable. We'll just have to do a little bit more cleaning up here and there, but sometimes it's a pain not to hurt these tags, and really chemical stripping is about the only way that you can do it. You go to sanding on it and you won't have anything left. But we've got a Delco motor, 3rd horsepower, 115 volts, 1725 RPM. It's an SON. General Motors Corporation. It's a Chevrolet. It's got to run. Well, we'll see anyway. Alright. We'll get her wired up and I'll show you. Okay folks, we're ready to try it, and I've got an old pretty ragged plug on it, so I figure if you're going to do something sketchy, you just well do it all the way. So I'm going to put my foot on that thing and plug it in, and it's either going to run or smoke or nothing's going to happen, but we're fixing to find out. Famous last words. Hey fellas, watch this. Running good. About as good as it could be expected, I guess. Clean it up, blow it out, and put a little oil on it. Or, well, counterclockwise. Well, from this end, clockwise from the other end. Like I said, this stuff's built good. I was expecting it to run. So. Alright, we'll check her out a little bit more and get her cleaned up, and it won't be too long, we'll start putting this thing back together. Okay folks, here's my them rubbers, and you know, they're really nice and soft, but they're just wore completely out and weather cracked and rotted away. You know, you'd think it'd be hard, you know, being cracked like that, but it's really not. But here is what I'm going to use to build a set of them. Just an old pair of flip-flops, or actually a new pair of flip-flops. But it's about the same thickness, and that rubber is about the same density as what this is. So that's what we're going to use, and we'll just cut one out of each side because it actually gets thicker back this way. But so I'm going to get that done. We'll cut it out on the bandsaw, and then we'll figure out how we're going to cut that square out of the center. We might can do it with a knife, but we'll see how it goes. That's what we're going to use. Okay folks, we've got our two new pieces made. Got our steel rings around them that go around them, and they collapse, so that's what tightened them down. But they turned out fine. I mean, nothing perfect, but I mean, they'll work a whole lot better than what these would. And there's our old shoes there. Well, not old, but no good anymore. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, this is the old top, and as you can see, they had a flat ground on each side, and then they've got a 3/8 hole through it, and that's what held that bracket, and it actually was really good and tight. It didn't flex any. So we're going to do the same thing on this one. First I'm going to take care of my crooked sawzall cut, and then I'm going to put 2 flats on it, drill a hole, and we'll get that base on it, and I'll show you when I get done. Okay, we got the flat made there, and got the hole drilled and drilled it the same distance down as the other one. It was about 1 inch, and so that's ready. I'm just going to finish cleaning this up and go ahead and get some paint on it. Show you more. Okay folks, base is painted. Got the motor mount painted. I don't know if I like that silver too much, but that's what we're using because that's what we've got. So we'll go ahead and put the motor on and start building it up from here. We'll try to get her all back together. Okay folks, got the motor sitting on it. Don't have the straps on it yet, but looks like it's going to work out really well. I cut a little extra slice in that one, but it wasn't very deep, but it'll be fine. You won't be able to see that one on the front anyway. And this is not a restoration, this is just a fixing an old motor up, and you can see the back there. So got the tag uncovered. It looks good, as good as it's going to get anyway. So I think I will just keep at it, and I've got to get the frame painted, and then we're going to, it's kind of a trick to slide the, I'm going to take these bolts back up, but I'm going to have to slide the blade on while I put the cover on. So it's kind of a little pain there, but we'll get it, and we'll try to go ahead and get the motor wired up and get everything ready here, but we'll show you more. Okay folks, we're all done with the fan here. Not sure how well you can see it, but excuse my mess around it because I'm working pretty hard on it and haven't cleaned up yet. But it's pretty much done. I didn't put a switch on it, and I think if this is a factory fan, it should have had a cap that went over the center here, but you know, it is what it is. We're just going to leave it, and I have already run it, and I am 100% impressed with it. How you know, how much air it puts out, and it does sound good. I like the sound of it. And I hadn't hooked up the ground wire. I don't have a cover for this yet. I'll probably make a cover, but I hadn't hooked the ground up yet. But you know, originally it wasn't grounded, but I put a 3-wire cord on it. We're going to go ahead and ground it, and you know, I rotated the engine or the motor because the oil holes are at the top. And there's little felts in there that, you know, hold the oil, but that's it. And you know, I straightened out everything. I had to weld a couple spots on the cage that was broke loose, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it on now and walk around it and let you see it run. I'm sure you won't hear me. You know, it's kind of loud, not the motor, the fan itself. But all right, I'll show you here in a second. And that blade, when I sanded it, I was able to tell that it was in a lot better shape than what I thought it was in. And I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. It's really light. It's not balsa wood or balsa wood or whatever it's called, but it's really light. But seems to work really good. I haven't owned this thing but for 2 days, and normally I don't jump on a project so quick, but I seen this base this morning and I forgot I had it. When I seen it, I measured that pipe and it was the same size. This pipe is the original that was on it, because the original was galvanized and I didn't want to run that. And I don't think it was original to the fan, it was just the one that they had on it. But so I took and brought it in here and just decided to go ahead and knock it out. So if you jump on this stuff and stay on it hard, it don't take long to knock something out like this. But anyway, I appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, commenting, and liking. And till next time, bye.